everyone. How you doing? This is Krome from Prospect Magazine TV. Bringing you an international broadcast about for shit all over the world. I love motorcycles and motorcycle club cultures, and I thought I'd bring to you on a wider stage and a grander stage, and hopefully everybody can inform and learn something from all of us. I want to bring on. I got a good friend of mine. A lot of people have been questioning me about a man and his body of work, and I thought it'd be best, just instead of me telling everybody every week, why don't I introduce you to him? He's a good friend of mine, and he's one of the world best photographers of people and advertisement and everything. He just, he asked me. We took pictures with him a few years back, and those pictures he took were just amazing. And yeah, he's a professional. And before you guys start, emailing him about taking the pictures, he's a professional, and his day rate must be around even from $2,000 to $3,000 a day. So don't fucking call him. Because I know, everything's gonna blow up. Because maybe he can take pictures of my cat or my dog or my bike. Nah, don't, dude. No, he's, his list of people is Harley Davidson, corporate Canada and corporate America. He's been around the world, and he's just an amazing dude. He actually rides a motorcycle. In the last 10 years, his body of work has been motorcycles and motorcycle club culture. I think he's totally responsible for the craze in motorcycle culture in Canada and Toronto and Montreal, because all the events, his name is mentioned in all the events that's happening. And Dan Lamb is a household name in photography on the motorcycle set. He drives a Harley Davidson motorcycle, and he's a family man, and he's just an amazing human being. Let's bring him on, because I got some good questions, and I want to introduce him to all y'all, so y'all can ask him some questions later on. But anyway, here's my boy Dan Lamb. I'm gonna bring him in now. Bring Dan Lynn on. Come on, Dan. Let's chop it up a little bit of some shit. Hey, Dan, how you doing, man?
Hey, Krome, what's going on?
Hey, brother. So I have a question for you. Like, how did this all started? How did you pick up a camera as a kid? I picked up motorcycles when I was 9 years old. So you're so talented and gifted with this photo work. How did this all start for you? Let's start with the camera first, then we'll go to the motorcycle second.
Sure. Well, I think I was either 11 or 12 years old or something. And my dad was a serious amateur photographer. And he had this old style camera called Yashica. And it's a twin lens camera. It's one of those old style with the two lenses. And that was his pride and joy. And I was never to touch that camera. Well, the shit started kid that I was, I had to get my hands on it. And I did. And I was fooling around with it. And I saw this kid riding a bike, and I had no idea what I was doing, Krome. It was just instinctual, I guess. I just panned with the kid and did a shot. And when my dad got the film developed and it came back, it was a beautiful shot of a kid on the bike, sharp as tack, and the background was blurred. And that was the moment when the magic of the camera captured my imagination. That was the moment. That was my aha moment. Like, wow, this thing is powerful. And that's when I was hooked. Till this day, though, my dad says he took that photo, but no, I know better.
We know that, it takes more than just taking a picture, because I know with your pictures always tell a story, without any audio. And that is a gift that a lot of people don't have. I'm trying to learn how to take pictures. I watch a lot of, photography, you and my other friend, Chris Bell, and a bunch of them. And tell me how you able to do that, because every black and white that you took of us, or a color picture, it kind of tells a story, and that gained interest around America that of us. And I tell them we didn't have nothing to do with that, or it was my friend Dan Lim who's telling the story. So how do you do that, to be able to take a picture and it actually tells a story on the audio?
Well, I think inherently as people, we're storytellers, right? Like we've been storytellers from the moment when cavemen were able to draw something on the walls to tell the story. So I think that's inherent in us. I've been shooting for such a long time now that I can't even really tell you what it is what the thought process is of shooting, because it's become such second nature to me. It's like breathing, right? Like anytime I'm in a situation, like if I'm riding with a group, I'm almost kind of in my headspace almost kind of knowing what may already happen, and I'm ready. And then when that moment happens, I'm there to capture it. So I think that's where the magic is, that I'm so in tune with what I'm doing, that it's really like second nature. You know, that saying of 10 years or 10,000 hours. If you do something for 10 years or longer, or 10,000 hours or more, you're considered a master. You ever heard that theory before?
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for 36 plus years as a photographer. So it's just inherent in me. It's just part of my fiber. And I think because I'm a people person, and I'm true to who I am and how I feel and passionate about things, that people sense that. So when I meet somebody, they sense that I'm not there for an ulterior motive or whatever. I'm just there to really be, to gain knowledge, to meet people, to capture those moments, you know? So
I totally understand everything you're saying, and but you know, it's funny because I know what I know about you. You come from a fashion background like myself, beauty and whatever, right? You know, like
yeah,
I've worked on film sets and publications and stuff like that, and you come from the same background. It's funny how it transcends into motorcycles, because you know, it's funny. I was at one of the Dominant's clubhouse a year ago, and I was talking to Dominant, you know, a huge club. And the guy's girlfriend asked me what I did for a living. When I told her, she was floored. She goes, "Okay, I don't get it. How do you get that and this?" But anyway, how did you? Again, I told her I did for a living. She's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, you know, customizing bikes, customizing people. It's kind of the same shit, really."
yep.
So how did you go from the beauty industry with fashion and magazines to taking pictures of bikers and biker enthusiasts?
I think the short answer, to be honest, Krome, is I'm one of these lucky guys that have been able to live my passion. You know, being a photographer, that's a passion of mine, right? I love photography. I've loved it ever since I was a kid. And being able to do it for a living is amazing. And, you know, in 2010, when I got back into riding, that whole floodgate of that feeling of riding just overwhelmed me, man.
Right.
So, you know, I just started to take photos and combine both my passions. So I think what I bring different to the table is because of my years of experience in the fashion and beauty industry, that, you know, I don't give a shit what people think about me and how I look and whatever. It's like, I don't dress like your typical biker or whatever.
Right.
And for me, it's just kind of being able to bring some of that personal style into the riding community, and letting people know that, hey man, it's okay. You don't have to look like a biker if you don't want to.
Right.
You know, I always found it really funny that in a world of motorcycles where everybody talks about independence and, you know, be your own person, you know, 90% of the people dress and look the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think maybe that's what you liked about the Gypsies, that we didn't look like typical stereo, you know, and not just you asking to take pictures. We have a lot of photographers. Hey man, can we just take your picture? And I'm like, why? And because, you know, the whole reason I got into this, right, motorcycles. I've ridden motorcycles since I was 9 years old. And I've always been an artist and been free. And I don't give a fuck what people think of how I look. I just always had how I thought. You know, I had friends from all different walks of lives, and I dressed the way I want to dress. And this is fucking me. This is Krome. You don't like it? Fucking go somewhere else. Go where the sheep is. I'm not a sheep. I've never been that way. But and one thing I always say about you, Dan, is that you are totally 100% responsible for the diversity and the new biker set in Toronto, because you started something that's so fucking cool. You don't care what kind of bike you ride. You can ride a scooter, anything with two wheels is in your social circle. Any race, any woman, anything is in your social circle. And it's something that you kind of started at, because you gotta understand, in the 80s, most of the clubs was like, you know, middle-aged white men. That was the whole thing. That was the biker scene in Canada. And they had really nowhere to go. Within, I gotta say, me and you both, we kind of Renaissance man in that way, that we opened up something that everybody can be proud of. What do you think of that? Do you take responsibility a little bit? I think you do. Because all the social circles, your name came up, Dan Lim. and not just your photography, is how you look at things.
Well, thank you, brother. I mean, I appreciate that. I'm not sure that that was something that I conscientiously decided to do. I think that's just part of my personality. I love meeting people, and I love learning about people, uh, getting to know them on a deeper than superficial level. And I don't judge people by the color of their skin or their gender or what they believe in. Like, if you're a good person and you're a nice person, that's all I care about. And the fact that you ride, that makes it even better. Um, so yeah, whether it be a scooter, not an electric scooter, mind you, I don't like those things. But yeah, like uh, the Toronto is such a diverse, multicultural city. It's such a hard thing to just say, well, I just want to be with one group or one nationality of people. Like, why be so limiting, man? That's like me saying I want to eat Chinese food for the rest of my life. I mean,
Right,
like there's so many.
Canada has a different history than America.
Yeah,
Segregation in America was law at one time, and
yeah,
a lot of people, they live in those. And even though there's not a law today that says you have to stick with your own kind, some people just they feel comfortable being around their own kind, and there's really nothing wrong with that. But in Canada and the biking world, you have a choice, right? You have a choice to be around the people you want to be around, and it's really funny, Dan. Tell me something. Tell me a little bit about your history. Have you traveled to other countries and taken pictures? I know you're kind of worldwide kind of guy. And what's the difference between, and you taking pictures on a motorcycle set, on all sets? What do you think the difference, or is it all the same?
I think at the heart of it all, it's all the same. I mean, people ride because they just love that feeling that you get when you're on two wheels. On top of that is the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the people that are in your circle, right? Your tribe. So I think intrinsically it's the same worldwide, but it's filtered through your own culture and your own customs and what have you. But yeah, I've been to Italy, Japan, all over the U.S. To do motorcycle photography, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that overall feeling of being a rider is universal, I would say.
Yes, you're very open-minded in your whole mindset about this whole thing, because you are, Dan, I got to say, you're a true artist. It's funny because, California, Biker Set was giving us a award with Miss Showtime, the legendary living legend Miss Showtime. And you were coming with us. You were so interested in meeting the people on the California side of hot rod community. I thought that was really cool that you even thought about, expanding your knowledge and all of this. And to even make you a better photographer, and more you see, the more you know with everybody. And whatever I will always try to do is, I've always tried to tell my club members and the motorcycle community that there is a big world out there, and not be so domestic about you're thinking.
Right.
You can learn something,
100%.
talk to everybody. I was very fortunate to get the Red Rum Motorcycle Club on my show, and I learned a lot from Cliff Mateus, the guy who runs that First Nations. And I had, texts and emails saying that was a really cool show. I had no idea the Native Indians had a motorcycle club.
Yep.
Well, everybody else did. Everybody else has. Well, why not? Anyway, I find it interesting. So I get you a question. So, is there an Asian motorcycle community?
I've seen a few clubs, RC clubs. I haven't seen any MCs that are Asian driven. I know in Cali that an MC called Pacific Savages. They're all about the Polynesian culture, and those are the people that I know, and they introduced me to a way of life that it's not for me, but certainly I can accept and respect. But in Toronto, I can't say that I've seen an Asian club per se, but I've seen a lot more Asian people getting onto motorcycles, and not necessarily just sport bikes, right? I mean,
Right.
they're getting more onto bobbers and cruisers and touring bikes, right? So.
But the thing is, I think in North America is like this, most cultures are from other countries, it's because it's kind of weird about it is they're not sure. This is what I see. they're not sure should they inject themselves in North American culture as far as hot rods. Now, other countries is weird because I got this club, Vietnam, that I'm gonna put on one day, and we back and forth because of the time thing. And these dudes had traditional, they're all right chops, like beautiful, beautiful chops. And it's funny because they have no problem with it. Like they're like, fuck it, we're doing this exactly the way the dudes did it in the 50s and the 60s, just like my Japanese brothers.
Yep.
Excuse me. And I'm thinking to myself, why is it so hard for people from? It's funny, America and Canada is different. It's feel like the people who grew up here feel like if they're from other countries, they kind of like feel like they don't want to really like, okay, this is American culture. I don't think I belong, and they're born and raised here. But countries like Japan, China, and in South Asia feel like they can fucking do it, and they doing it better than a lot of the clubs here are doing it. Most of the clubs in the Northwestern, they think a motorcycle club is riding these big ass baggers that look like convertibles, but them dudes are traditional with the choppers and that. What do you think about that? I got this bag magazine called Ripper, and it's funny because they're Japanese magazine. And they put my friends, the East Bay Dragons, on the cover of it. Like yep. That's amazing. What do you think of all that? Of these guys in other countries taking on a hot rock culture and doing it better than actually the Americans are doing it.
I mean, that's the thing about Japan that blew me away. I was in Yokohama and Tokyo for a couple of years ago for the hot rod and motorcycle show in Yokohama with Moon Eyes, and that was my first exposure to Japan because I'd never been before. But meeting some of the people in that culture and at the show and whatnot, I mean, yeah, man, they're just in love with Americana and what that stood for, and they've taken it to the next level.
Right.
Even I mean, there's some amazing builders in America and even in Canada, and they are blown away and appreciative of what the Japanese have done in terms of keeping that culture alive, but even infusing a little bit of that Eastern influence in there. You know what I mean? Like, so it's amazing. I mean, I think that's why I think motorcycles and that whole culture is so universal and can be adapted in so many ways. And I think that's why you're seeing such a resurgence in people getting back and getting into riding, and especially the women demographics and the ethnic culture. Like, I'm seeing more South Asian people riding in Canada, in Toronto, more Asian guys, it's reflective of our multicultural society, for sure.
I said in my last podcast, it's just like music. It's kind of a bridge, right? It forces people to actually intimate and talk to each other, right? Because music did it. It's funny because my day job, I used to have a lot of clients from Lake Oakville, the most conservative white place on the planet. You know what Oakville is. And all the kids would sit in my chair and listen to rap music. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, do you understand what these guys at Compton is saying? They're like, no, I don't give a shit. I just like this music. So motorcycle transcend because, I met so many guys in a gas station and talking to them, even an event that I kind of started 17 years ago, called L&L, Leslie and Lakeshore. It all started was me and a couple other friends and some women had nowhere to go because the whole biker community means that, what the definition was old white guys in an outlaw club. And when I started riding bikes, I didn't belong in that and enjoying that. I wasn't accepted in that. So I realized I had to start my own shit. I had to start something that, what if you didn't ride a Harley, and what if you didn't ride this, and what if you had a scooter? We were the man and woman. We had to start something. What we did was we went to this parking lot and started something. And 15 years later, it blew up. It's sort of like what you did, the same thing. It's just the people who don't belong in this, if you had nowhere to go, Dan Lim and his crew was somewhere you could ride with if you're a woman and you didn't have a $50,000 bike, you just had a motorcycle and you just wanted to ride. It's kind of the same thing. And what you did, Dan, was amazing. So tell me something. So, you being a photographer and a successful one, how has the technology, the new thing with cell phones and COVID hurt your business?
Well, COVID, for the obvious reason that, things are shut down, and, my industry shut down for a good 6 months last year. I mean, we could not work, period, even if we wanted to. Clients are not shooting as much because their budgets are cut and whatnot. So by default, it's it's definitely affected my industry. In terms of digital, I mean, it's advancement. You're not going to stop that. So
Right.
I've always had the philosophy of evolve or die, right? So, and I've reinvented myself so many times over the decades. I've been shooting for a long time that I think you have to ask yourself at the end of the day, do you still want to be on the field playing the game?
Right.
If you do, then you got to find ways to get your ass on the field.
Right.
If you don't see yourself playing the game by the time you're ready to retire or whatever, or call it quits, then get out and find something else. Because there's a lot of other people out there who can do it and will do it for, that are passionate about it.
Right.
And that's the thing that I haven't lost. And knock on wood, hopefully I don't. But that's the thing I haven't lost is my passion for what I do as a creator. And the creation has actually become more than just photography. I mean, I did a show last year at the motorcycle show called Clutch Society, where I curated a motorcycle show within the big show.
Yeah, I remember that. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing because it was all about grassroots. It's about, the community. It wasn't about commercial. It wasn't about new bikes or whatever, but it was in a venue that promoted that, which was great because I think it goes hand in hand because business is business. And at the end of the day, we need our OEM companies like Harleys and Yamahas and Hondas to do well because without them,
it's funny. It's funny at the bike show. I saw that, and the first thing I said to you, I remember talking to you, goes, "They need to fucking pay you to come here." Because what it is this, Dan. I saw that your booth and your booths and what you had set up. You had your own show inside the motorcycle show, and it was so well fucking put together. I was sitting. I turned to the gypsies and go, "They need to pay this brother to fucking come here because what you have done is what you had done for motorcycle community." In Canada is what the Lakers in Boston did for basketball back in the 80s.
Wow, man. I don't know about that.
No, seriously. You brought a whole new audience to motorcycle. You know what it is? It's funny, I contacted Harley Davidson and said, look, I have a club and I'm going to mention the dealership. I said, I have a club and this is what we're doing. And the bottom line, you have to have a Harley Davidson join my fucking club. They didn't even email me back because I'm thinking to myself, well, don't they want this business? Don't they? That they can't see that there's so many people who don't purchase these bikes only because they feel like there's a party happening and they're not invited. All you got to do is show a little bit of diversity in everything you fucking do, and trust you bring a whole new audience into your brand. And what you've done is this: you brought to the motorcycle show. You don't have to have a belly or a beard to ride a motorcycle. That's exactly what you did in your presentation at the motorcycle show. That's what I saw. You can be a woman, you can be Asian, you can be black, you can be this, you can be Russian, where the fuck you came from. You can be short, tall, whatever. This lifestyle and this thing is for everyone. And I said that to you, that the motorcycle show needs to pay you to come there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because you did it so well. And what we're going to do is, I would love to show pictures of that because it was beautiful what you done. Because I stood around and talked to Khalil and a couple of guys in the club. I said, no, you know what? This motherfucker here, Dan Lamb, these motherfuckers need to pay him. And me. Both of us. Because we're bringing everybody to the party. And we're not just, because, the motorcycle community in Canada, they invited you to the party, but they didn't offer you a drink.
Yeah.
That's what
that's what I want to change, right? I mean, I think it's evolved. I started riding again in 2010 after 20 years of not riding. And you're right. It's a very different mindset riding today than it was back in the day. And we won't go into that, but basically since me coming back into riding, I have noticed all these changes, and maybe my mindset and mentality has evolved as we've gone, but really it is about breaking down some stereotypes.
Exactly.
And, right. Not to discount, the previous culture, because that was also part of the fabric of what makes it what it is. Right. So we're definitely not discounting that or dissing that.
Right.
I just think that there's so much more now, and people don't know until they actually do it. So I'm encouraging new riders and people that are on the fence, or, wow, that looks like an exciting life, but I'm not sure. Well, hey, go take a course, go,
Exactly. Yeah.
get on a bike and see what it feels like. And that's why things like, Harley Davidson, when they do their Jumpstart program, where they have a bike on a stationary machine and you can
Right.
get on it and rev it, you're not going anywhere, but it's just having that feeling, right? I think it's doing things like that gets people excited. And then when they actually get on their bikes, like some of the best people I've met is because of the motorcycle. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's so
I
true.
said it in my last pass. I says some of the best people I've ever met is on two wheels. I pull in a gas station and I look at people. I tell this story one time that I was riding through Ohio. I just coming from I think it was Daytona or something, or in Florida or something. I was on my bike and it started raining. I pulled over. I pulled underneath an overpass, and I'm sitting there. It's pouring rain, and I see a guy and his wife pulled over too. And I'll never forget this. I look at them, look at me, and look, we have everything in common. All of a sudden, I see the woman walking towards me, and she says, "Hey, do you want a beer and a sandwich?" We just, So I walk over to them, and they were from some part of the U.S. And the three of us sat down and talked about motorcycles and kids and whooping kids' ass. And I got the one kid who don't want to do it. And we eating burgers. We eating shit, made food sandwiches, some burgers and stuff. And we eating, drinking beer. And rainpour. We shook hands, gave each other hugs. I had met some of the most amazing people on motorcycles. I don't know what it is. Whatever your thing is, what you have in yourself, you see another person on a bike, you pull over to help them, you pull over to have a conversation with them, and you wouldn't realize how much you would have in common with that person when when all the layers of all the bullshit is down, all the red flags are up, you pull them all into the side, and you feel like you have so much things in common. And you're right, Dan. It's like motorcycle transcends race, color, everything. It just does. I don't know. I feel there's nothing else that does that but music and motorcycles.
Yeah, very few things for sure, but those are probably the top two. I agree.
So, we talked about a few things, and Dan, is obviously, and I ask everybody this: how would you leave what legacy did you want to leave in this? This whole thing you started, because I understand something, like the universe works in a weird way, and a lot of people don't believe in the things I say about it, but everything's fucking meant to be, and everything's kind of laid out.
Yeah,
you have left a legacy in this, and you don't even know you have. What you have done with your whole vision and motorcycles and taking pictures, you have brought a whole bunch of people together who would never actually have a conversation with each other if it wasn't for you. So what do you think about all that? Like,
well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. I mean, again,
it's not a compliment; it's a reality. So that's what it is.
Thank you. I mean, for me, it's my. I'll get back to the legacy part. I'm not sure that's the word I would use, but certainly I'm just privileged and honored to be able to share my passion through my work, through the content that I create. And for the people that enjoy it and get something out of it, that's fantastic. And that at the end of the day, that's for me an important aspect, is being able to share my passion for the lifestyle, for riding, everything that goes with it. And I guess part of that then would be, I hope that I can leave in some small way a better community of inclusiveness, and we are one people under the sky.
Exactly.
And I just want to keep fostering that. And if I can be some small part in propagating that message, propagating that attitude, then I think I've done something good. Because
so let me explain legacy to you and to people who don't understand what I'm saying. Toronto is a very multicultural place you grew up in, right? So
yeah,
the media doesn't really show guys like you and I doing positive shit. There'll be some Asian kid who grows up in Kitchener, Ontario, who run around a motorcycle. And some people are going to tell you belong. And then some kid goes, "You ever heard of fucking Dan Lim?" That's what I'm fucking talking about. You ever heard of Krome? He's with all his friends who don't look like him. He goes, "Well, these guys are doing this. No, have you heard of a motherfucker named Krome? Dan Lim, fuck you." That's what's going to come across. And that's what I meant by legacy. This thing is bigger than you and I. And what we do in the universe is put us in this, because I'm pretty sure that it wasn't hard to do. It all kind of fall into place. Because that's some universe shit. It has nothing to do with you and I. Because everything I do kind of falls into place. I go, why is this falling in place? Why am I getting this money to buy this studio? Why am I getting, like, what the hell? Because we're supposed to do this, Dan.
Okay.
Somebody else has laid this path out for us. Like I say, there's some kid who grows up in Woodstock, Ontario, who has to be Asian, and all his friends are telling him he doesn't belong. And then a little birdie come out of the internet going to say, but have you heard of fucking Dan Lim? Thank you very fucking much.
Okay, I'll try to live up to that, brother.
Well, anyway, brother, I know you got things to do, and I thank you so much for taking some time out to talk to me. I know you're a very busy guy, and I know when I email and text you, say, hey, Dan, you're like, I got this show thing, I'm doing this podcast thing. Please come on there, because people need to know who the fuck took these pictures of us. Because I keep getting these, who's taking the picture. This ain't no selfie. This is shit. This is a professional who does his work. He's a body of work that's amazing. And everybody should know about him, because dude, you're so talented. I wish the world knew about you. Now that I started this podcast, people across the border, across the pond, know about you.
Thank you. Well, let me just add to that about doing shots of you guys, because I think for me, that's like butter and bread, man. Like for me, that's like butter and bread. It's because you guys are so authentic and so genuine to the message that you're putting out there. The stigmas that you guys want to break, that for me to photograph it, because I resonate with that, it's easy, man. Like I see it and it's like clockwork whenever I photograph you guys, So, I think what you guys are doing are amazing. I think, getting the message out to people, not just the Black community, but to people, like it's a good message, man.
It's funny because I tell you, my good Irish buddy Rob, he's fucking funny as hell. He contacted me. He goes, and he's in Costa Rica, laying on a fucking, he's got a couple of houses up there. And out of Costa Rica, he goes, hey man, I gotta tell you something. I like what the fuck you doing. I'm like, what are you talking about, Rob? This guy just no. I grew up in Scarborough. I grew up with all the clubs there. You guys just changed the whole narrative of what an MC is. I said, no, that's not what we're trying to do. He said, no, fuck you. You did. He said, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm very proud of you, Heron, what you guys did. It's a beautiful thing. And I hope the rest of the world's watching you guys, because you guys trying to keep some kids out of fucking jail. You're trying to do that. I said, man, I'm doing the best I can, and all the resources I have, which is not many. And I'm hopefully people get what we're trying to do. He goes, no, man, you're doing a really good job. I said, tell me what you need. I need to do to help you guys. I go, thank you so much. Just contact me, email me every once in a while and tell me, what I'm doing wrong. That's how you do help us. Just tell me what I'm doing wrong and I'm all good. Well, anyway, Dan, I'm going to let you go. I know you got a busy day. And again, I'm going to thank you so much for coming on here and chopping up with me. And hopefully when the weather breaks, come by the house. You come by every once in a while, which is good. You come by the house every once in a while, and we get Joe, my Italian buddy, make his famous pasta and things like that. You get a chance to see the guys, and the guys all love you. We've been trying to put that patch on your back ever since I don't give a fuck what race you are. We've been trying to put that patch on your back since we first met you. And I get the politics of all this. And Cleo was going, just put it in the nigga's car. Just put it in his car. He got no choice. He got to wear it. They gonna put it in his car. What are you talking about? These guys, Jason, these guys all love you, Dan. And you've been a good friend and supporter of the Lost Gypsies Nation from day one. And thank you so much for those amazing pictures you've taken. And if you want to get on Dan Lim, Dan, tell me your website. Tell me your website. Yeah,
my website is themotophoto.com. It's the letter the word the, moto, MOTOFOTO.com. Or you can find me on Instagram at themotophoto on Instagram. So yeah, by all means, come see what I'm creating, what I'm putting out there. If you like it, follow. If you don't, that's cool too. It is what it is.
Say, if you come by our office, it's like a fucking gallery of Dan Lim. Tell you that right now. You come over, look at the pictures. It's blown up, like big, and Our clubhouse is more like a gallery. It is a clubhouse, like I tell you. We don't have any stripper poles, but we do have a bar. So, if
Yeah.
you come by and
Well,
sit.
it's authentic, right? I mean, it's authentic,
Exactly.
and that's the important thing. So,
Anyway, thank you again, Dan. I'll give you a call later on today. And,
yeah,
thank you again for coming on, and God bless you. God bless your family, and have a good week. We'll talk to you later.
pleasure, man. Thank you for having me, Krome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, brother.
I just want to thank my boy, Dan Lamb. Dan Lamb is the real deal. He's very authentic. He's one of my best friends outside of this whole shit. And I love this brother, man. And he's a great rider. He rides a beautiful bike. He has a beautiful family. And he's got kids. And, he's just, I met so many amazing people over this whole thing, this motorcycle world that we're all in, and from all different walks of life. And in Canada, there's a lot of options like we have in the U.S. And I'm really thankful that, people like Dan and all the people who come on this show to help us out. I'm really appreciative of it. I just want to say this is Prospect Magazine TV, and I'm going to sign off. And that's about it. So have a great weekend. Wear your mask. And I just want to show you guys something. I have a few patches here that it's easy to purchase. Just contact me on Lost Gypsies Nation Facebook page. These two patches. The first one is the Unity ride. You have to come here and get this one. I ain't sending shit over the mail. You ride here to Canada, I'll fucking probably give you one. This one here, it just shows it's a Canadian patch. It's the Lost Gypsies Nation. It says that you support this podcast that I'm doing and everything I'm trying to bring everybody a bigger world of motorcycle lovers than anything. This is the patch here is One Love, One Nation, One Family. And everybody's starting to wear this. Even we got some of these pictures in Sweden, Germany, the UK, and we're trying to get these across America, because what it is Canada is here. And there's bikers here and real bikers. Okay. Thank you so much. This is Krome. This is Prospect Magazine, and have a great weekend and wear your mask. Ciao.